Wake Up. I'm Claude.
And this is Renee.
And Renee, we have some guests today.
Yeah.
Do you know who we have today?
I do.
So, any of you guys who watched my good friend, homie, and third producer, Guru, did a panel. Lord, how long ago was that? That was before COVID, right?
No.
That was during COVID.
Yeah, during COVID.
So during COVID, he had a wonderful speaker, Coach Carmyn, on there, and I've got her on my show somehow. We finally got schedules together, and she brought her husband Woody with her.
Yeah.
And we're just glad to have you guys here because normally it's just Renee and I, and normally it's 5 a.m, and we're normally just.
He would be here if that was normal.
I love it.
I used to
5 a.m. is my time. That's my time.
It was like afternoon. You can have drinks without people looking at you
right,
weird.
yeah.
I mean, 5
That's
a.m.
the
drinks
first
could be
question you
fun,
asked.
too. Yeah.
Right.
Ready for some
So
wine?
normally Renee and I just kind of talk about our kids at the beginning of our show, and obviously I want to get to know you guys first and about your life and what makes you guys special, which is a lot of stuff from what I already
Kids
know
are a
about
big
you.
part of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Ain't they though?
Sure.
All right, guys, let's start off with just introducing yourself. So I know who you are, so let everybody else know who you are.
Coach Carmyn, the wife of Woodrow Samuel.
Is he the husband of Coach Carmyn?
Right. Sometimes.
Been in Tampa. This is 20 years for us?
Yeah.
20 years for us
20
individually
years.
and collectively.
Yep.
Backgrounds in.
I followed her to Tampa, so
That
it's
is
20 years
true.
for both of us.
Where did you follow her
That's
from?
an interesting
From
story.
Palm Beach. That's a
from
story in
Palm
and of
Beach,
itself.
okay.
Yeah.
Palm Beach County.
That could be its own podcast series.
Cool.
We met each other and didn't sleep for like 2 months, and then I couldn't let her
Nice.
leave, so I came with
Very
her.
nice.
Yeah.
It's a good story.
It is.
That's a great story.
It is.
So I went to school here, started my career here, started a family here, and we're still here.
Nice.
We now have a senior that is getting ready to go to college, and that's like the
Yes.
topic of conversation every single day in our household. But
Because that's an accomplishment.
It is,
nowadays.
and it's
It really
and
is.
stressful
man.
all at the
Yeah.
same time,
Oh, my
It's
right?
not an accomplishment that they finish high school, but it's that you don't kill them before
Oh
they
yeah,
finish high school.
agreed.
I think she's gonna make it.
Yeah.
I think.
She's solid, man.
I don't know about the other two though.
We tell her all this all the time. I don't know if you're gonna survive.
So I want to ask you about your kids, but what do you introduce yourself to?
Sure. So my name is Woodrow Samuel II, and I go by Woody, and I'm a professional speaker by trade. I'm a teacher by trade, and coach. We coach our kids in basketball, and I've been
Why
a
did
coach.
I not know
probably
you were a
for-
coach? Why did we call you Coach Woody?
I don't know. That's actually
coaching.
that's what I was.
What
That'd be
do they
the
call
title
you?
of
Coach
this
Samuel.
episode.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm so sorry,
you're
Renee. But yeah, so we actually coached I have coached our son. He is now 12, and I've been coaching him on and off since he was 3. And I actually came off the road because I was on the road with the Education Association. I came off the road so that I could be at their school where they are now, and,
Nice.
and I coached his 6th grade team, and now I'm helping him. He's actually playing up this year because of COVID and some things. He's the only 7th grader. And so he's
wow.
playing up with the 7th and 8th
Wow.
grade team, and so I'll be helping them as well. So yeah,
So you
That's cool.
want to coach?
Oh yeah, I want to coach t-ball for Olivia.
That's the best thing
that'd be
ever.
the cutest
yes,
thing.
yes.
T-ball, Renee, T-ball is the
I
best
love
thing ever.
softball,
It
and
is
so
the
and my
best
son
thing
played
ever.
t-ball, and he
Oh my
loved
gosh.
t-ball. But I was not in the right frame of mind. And boys balls, I have a hard time with the little balls. So
Yeah.
t-ball will be fine. I know it's little,
Yeah.
but I'm like, no, I'm
So
gonna follow
much
her through
fun.
softball, and I'm gonna be ready. So
So can I
yeah.
give you some help that's going to help you not be
Please.
stressed? This is so
I'm
she won't
always
be
stressed.
stressed. This is what's going to help you not be stressed. It doesn't matter how much you coach them up. Wherever, when they're on defense, wherever the offensive player hits the ball, the whole team is going.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're like a
The
herd.
whole
They're like
team
a
is
flock.
going. And I'm talking about the pitcher, the center fielder, and the right fielder. If it could be hit to left field, everybody's going to left
Did you
field.
ever have the one?
You just got to
too?
let it happen.
My son
You gotta
always
let it
had the
happen.
one on his team that was like in outfield with the glove over his face. I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna get by the ball. What are you doing?
T-ball is the best.
She's gonna definitely coach the t-ball every
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
So our son Nicholas played for many years until he got to high school, and then he
He's
became
just-
a teenager, didn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
But
happens.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We gotta get him
God,
back
that
into it. I think golf is
I
on
hope.
his agenda now. We did basketball. We did basketball. That was interesting. He
Yeah.
did okay. He
Yeah,
did
he
okay in
did okay.
basketball. He got better.
Yeah.
He's done baseball all his life.
Yeah,
he
soccer.
dropped that because he kind of got afraid of the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
It gets
understand-
faster and harder.
Yeah,
I'm
he was
guessing
like-
as you get older.
Right.
He's like,
And he's
it
been hit.
hurts now when they hit me.
So I understood that with the baseball. We tried football. That was a complete
Oh, that was horrible.
disaster.
He would play for
And-
30 seconds, and we'd be out there 4 hours
Right.
a day,
Right.
and 30
Oh,
seconds,
yeah, we
and
would
he's
get up
like,
at
"Nope,
8
I'm
a.m.
done. I
and
don't want to
go
be
home until
hit."
2.
I'm like, "Honey, it's a sport of hitting."
Right.
No.
But every year that he was playing, I'd always get that question, "Do you want to coach?" And I'm just like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
Claude's
don't
always like, "Nope, it's
I
not
don't
gonna
like
be
kids
me."
that much. So kudos to y'all. I really don't. I love my kids. I would love to do the motivational speaking. I love to talk to kids like youth
Yeah.
groups. I would love to do that stuff.
Yeah.
As far as coaching, honestly, I'm a competitive person myself. I played basketball until I was 12.
Yeah.
My mom, she's here. She'll actually know the actual number and she'll laugh because I wasn't super great. I was just tall. I got thrown around the court.
Yeah, Claude's like, they just wanted me to play because I was tall enough
Of
so I
course.
could play.
Right.
Of course.
That's
You
how
can't
I got
coach
into it,
height.
Claude. I played baseball my whole life.
Right.
Yeah,
See, that's what
I had a
I
7-inch
never
growth
thought to play
spurt
that
in
one.
2 months.
Wow.
And the coach who never said a word to me my freshman year. I walked around Atlantic High School my whole freshman year. He never said a word to me. And my sophomore year, I came back 7 inches taller, and all of a sudden, he wanted to know who I
Whoa.
was.
That's
Right.
hilarious.
So I never picked up a basketball. I started in 10th grade because I had that growth spurt.
Right.
So I can relate. Yeah.
And the thing for me though is that I don't know how to be poised in the face of defeat.
Oh.
And
Not
I feel
even
like-
in his adult life,
Not in my
let
adult
alone
life.
leading
You
I
can't
was
coach,
a
bro.
children.
You can't
I
coach.
can't.
If you can't be poised in the face of
can't.
defeat, you
Nope.
can't coach
I
kids.
just can't. You know.
I only know how to not be poised when we're playing cards against
That's
each other.
funny.
That's
You're a
good.
sore
Other
loser
rest- I
when we're
am.
playing
Some
cards.
People
I'm
are
a
made to be
terrible
coaches,
loser.
you know. Some people are made to be spectators, and that's
Yeah.
me. I'm a spectator.
Oh,
I
but
can
he
watch.
he wouldn't sit by me when we spectated because especially my son. I'm like,
because you're
"What?"
awful.
Oh yeah. Are you really crying?
she's
Like you
awful.
need to write, but with the dirt kid. And then my son played
She's
catcher.
the worst
and
sideline
I
coach
I
ever.
wouldn't know he was.
Right there.
I'm like, you're rolling your eyes, and I can see you even though you have that catcher's face on. I'm like, are you serious right now? Oh yeah.
we
I
have,
don't know her. I'm just
We
gonna
have
walk
parents in
away.
our organization when they come to a basketball game, they don't sit together.
Right.
Because they have opposite personalities and
Yeah.
it creates
Right.
conflict.
Yeah, I'm too loud for him.
I could not coach. Like it's
Yeah.
I do a lot of different things, wear many different hats, and it's the one thing.
But I
that
think the
cannot
difference
be
with her,
without.
Claude, is that she's really good at, and this is where I think differentiates her from many coaches, is she is about the betterment of the person.
Yeah.
Right.
Like first.
Right.
And I think that's what our organization is. And I think that's what differentiates our organization. And so
Yeah.
she's trying to figure out, okay, so in this situation, how am I going to help you be a better human?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to everything else.
Right.
And I think that's the
Yeah.
difference with her organization.
And a lot of coaches aren't like that.
No.
A lot of coaches are
A lot
all
of
about
them
that
are.
win.
A lot of
Yeah.
them are
That's all
not.
they care
And they don't
about.
care. And get the win however.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's where a lot of times they don't even give other kids the chance to grow and to
Right.
practice, and because they're just looking for that W.
Right.
And sometimes I've seen some of the best players with the worst attitudes,
Absolutely.
and they refuse to bench them. And I'm like, oh, you'd be sitting the bench because
Right.
you don't get into a ref's face
Yep.
as a 10-year-old. Like,
Yep.
no, that's so unacceptable.
Have y'all seen that, Renee, Claude? Have y'all seen that meme where the high school player, it's recent, like in the last month, he ran off the sideline and hit the ref.
No.
I haven't seen
Hit him.
that.
Like shouldered the ref like how he was hitting the dude carrying the ball.
I assume he was
You got to
done
pull it.
forever,
Dude, he
right?
not only is he done, like they're
Wow.
saying that his football career in college is done.
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
you know what
He's
I
in
mean?
high school right now?
He's a high school player right now. And apparently he was getting looks, and apparently that's all going by the
Wow.
wayside. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all over the
But
internet.
see, here's my problem with
It's
that.
all over the internet.
That kid didn't start being
Right, that
way.
that
He
culminated
went
in that
unchecked
moment.
somehow.
And that's exactly
It
what
was
y'all said
allowed
before.
for
The
too
coach wasn't
long.
fostering his humanity. The
Right.
coach wasn't
Yeah.
fostering him to be a good
Exactly.
The coach,
citizen.
the parents,
Right. It's all about the
all
win.
of it.
And I feel like kids that do things like athletics, whether it be basketball, baseball, football, even something different like taekwondo, you can foster, because we always say, oh, they're aggressive and they have a lot of energy. Let's put them into a sport. But if you're not also feeding that humanity inside
Absolutely.
of them to be a good
Yeah.
sportsman,
It can go so
it ain't
bad.
gonna be good.
Yep.
It ain't
And it's
gonna
going to
be good.
eventually come out, right?
Right.
I mean, you
Yes.
can't. So your truth will always come out.
Yeah.
You can hold it back and you can shield it for a long time, but it will eventually. Like that was that kid's truth.
Yes.
He did what has always been in him, and somebody, like you said, somebody didn't get a hold of him
Yeah.
and show him something better. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's just no respect. Like,
Right,
People
that's
have
just-
no respect for
yeah.
people, and
Right.
period. Like,
Well, it's-
wow.
It's all about being a good sport.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you know,
Well, but
that
too,
is one thing that
with
playing basketball I
refs,
did learn.
Because most of us
Yeah.
are not going to play pro ball.
Yes.
Right? Like
Right.
my,
The
my
majority.
son,
Yes.
Right.
my son has a dream. Our son has
Is
a
it
dream
what
of
was it?
playing
What was
pro
it, about
ball.
1%?
It's
Yeah,
something
it's
crazy
1.7%.
low, man.
Yeah.
Our son has a dream of playing pro ball, and you know I tell him all the time, dude, I'll be right there at center court supporting you.
Right.
You know, I support it. I'm a dream pusher.
Yeah.
But the reality is, most people will not make it
Yeah.
there.
Right.
So the question is, like, what kind of person are you becoming when you don't achieve that?
Right.
Right.
As most of us will not. Most
Right.
of us will have a job or will be entrepreneurs or something, but most of us are not going to play for the Dodgers. We're not going to
Yeah.
play for the Miami Heat. That's
So your
just
son's a
not-
baseball player?
No, he's a basketball,
Basketball
player.
player. Okay.
But his dream is to play for the University of Kentucky, and then he wants to play pro ball. But
I like their
the
colors.
reason that I really push and support his dream, Claude, truthfully, is because he handles his business in school. Like he's
That's
a
great.
he's a 7th grader
That-
right now. his first trimester report card, he had 7 A's and 1 B.
See,
That's awesome.
So,
that's the thing that we struggle with.
yeah, it's
And-
grades.
Is the grades, and not because he's not capable. It's because it's identifying what's important.
Sure.
And
Yeah, you want to
nothing's
play the
important.
sport. Yeah, you want to play video games. Whatever your thing is that you want to do, we support you in that. But without an education, I'm a firm believer. Without an education, there's no way. That's
It's a fact.
Yeah.
That's why I teach, bro.
Right.
Just so you know, like, truthfully, I teach because education made the difference for me.
Right.
Yeah.
I had both of my parents, but we grew up square in the middle of the hood.
Yep.
Yeah.
And education made a difference.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's part of the reason why I teach and why I speak and why I go to the prisons and talk to people.
Right.
And because without that education, it's going to look very different.
Right.
Period. It's going to
And
look
both
very
of us,
different.
I mean, we both had jobs without finishing our college degree. We got to a certain level where it's like, well, we have to do it now. You know,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
kind of got like I lost my job and I was
Yeah.
stuck.
Sure.
I was like, well, what do I do? I've been here for 10 years and
Yeah.
there's nothing that I can do that I'm more qualified for that I can get paid the same amount to support my family.
Well, and the sad part is too, he was a manager, but he
Yeah.
had worked his way up. Well, another company was not going to just go off of experience.
Right.
He
Right.
needed
Yeah.
that degree.
Right. So definitely education is key.
Absolutely.
We stress it. We stress it. It is hard because teenagers nowadays have so much influence.
Yeah.
And getting in front of that influence is
Yep.
very hard. It's very
Yes.
difficult.
Oh,
And it's
Well,
tough. And you got to
think-
do it young.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, it's hard to do. It's hard to hit a 15-year-old with some new
Yes.
ideology.
Right.
Yes.
It's hard. I don't
Yes.
care what it
15,
looks
yes.
like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
It's
think I've
hard.
seen kids younger and younger be more successful early without the education. You know,
Right.
our son went through a phase where the whole being a YouTuber and how much does that YouTuber make?
Oh my
how much
gosh,
does that YouTuber?
yes.
And oh my gosh, mommy, he's a YouTuber, but all he does is play video games.
His
And I'm just
favorite
like, well,
line was, "Daddy, he has 3.6 million subscribers, not
Right.
views,
Yeah.
Right.
subscribers.
How much
How much money
that
is that,
place?
Daddy?" I'm
Yeah.
like,
Right.
Which in all honesty, you can't really blame them for that because
No.
that's really what we're setting them up for
What
is
I-
to go get an education so you can be financially secure. So
Right.
it's not wrong that they're looking at it like
No.
that.
and we all get, I think everybody the same,
Right.
but we get that the working at a company for 30 years and getting to go watch and striding off into retirement, that day is done.
That day is
Right.
That day is long
gone.
done,
Long
right?
gone.
Very
It's
few
long
people
done.
work for
Long
any
gone.
company for
Right.
that
I mean,
length
it's
of time
just-
anymore.
No.
So
The
it's
company
not,
might not even be
it's
that
not
long.
that we're
Yeah.
out of touch. We get
Right.
that, but to your point, Claude, that education is still important.
Yeah. Right.
Like this, the
They
bottom
want
line
it.
is, I don't care in 2021 if we have 2 applicants and one graduated high school and graduated college and one didn't. That guy's gonna get the look.
I think
Yeah.
about YouTube. I throw YouTube
Yeah.
as a emerging YouTuber myself, trying to get our
even
company
funnier.
out there, Shift Division Media, and our podcast. It isn't easy. You have to grind. There are some people that I say they don't sell their souls, but they do certain things that is more appealing, that will get
Absolutely.
you more likes and more hits and more followers and
Yeah.
subscribers, all that greatness. And if you're not, and that ain't you. I tell my kid, that's not you. That's not
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
You got to work for it. And it's
Right.
just like famous singers and famous athletes and famous actors and actresses. It is something that you got to have that it factor and you have to grind at.
Yeah.
It. It's not.
Well, and we only get to see the finished product. We
Right.
don't get to see
Yeah.
all the blood, sweat, and tears that
Right.
went into
Well, that's
that
the
finished
thing. Like
product.
you watch LeBron James play basketball. LeBron James makes a very difficult thing look easy.
Right.
Yeah.
So when
Yes.
you're very impressionable, you look, oh, I want that, but you don't see the 500 shots a day
Yeah.
that he's putting
He
up
works
every
hard
day
to
and
get
hours
where
and
he
And
was.
the key too is just why do you want it? That's what I always
Yeah.
say. Why do you?
Right.
So what is your purpose?
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
want to just solely make money? Because there's a lot of other things that you can do
To make money,
with an
yeah.
education and make that money.
Yeah.
And it actually will probably be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's less soul crushing from what I say. It's to
Right.
literally go to school, get your education, maintain this lifestyle that you want to have. That's a plan that you
Yeah.
can do. That's not easily attainable, but it's attainable. These YouTubers and these TikTokers and all these people that are making this money, are they making this money too? I have to say that because I don't know what they
Right.
make.
I
Honestly,
have no idea.
I really don't know. I mean, I know there's a website called something scale. It's something where it shows you like by
Pay scale?
subscription. It's
Oh, I
something where they
understand.
show you
Yeah.
by like how many subscriptions each month would they make and TikTokers. But I think it's what you said, Claude. A lot of that stuff I'm not willing to do, and I hope my kids are not willing to do.
Right, right.
I
don't have-
mean,
first of all, I don't have the
by all
willingness to do
means,
the
like get
TikTok
your
thing.
money. But I would love for my daughter to keep her clothes on.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, I would love for
Right.
her. You know what I mean? And you know, just certain things I wish I would hope they wouldn't do.
exactly.
You know what I mean? So
And my daughter, we've seen her dance. She gets my rhythm. She doesn't really know how to do, all those crazy
But
things.
have you noticed even her? So she watches Ryan, who is a YouTuber on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like a little kid YouTuber.
Ryan made $25 million in 2019.
Yeah. So, but she
Wow.
watches him so much. Even now, she's like, "Mommy, can I take a video?" And she'll have my phone, and she goes, "Today we're gonna make a
That
video."
is the age, though.
Like, oh
Yeah.
That
no.
is the age. They're in the digital age more so than we were.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
We had computers. They have computers in their
yeah.
pockets.
Yeah.
And my daughter at 4 knows how to use
Find
it.
my
TikTok, Snapchat.
My kids are the ones that get me through the firewalls. Like, it's
Right.
cool. Like, I
Right.
don't know how to get around that. But I'm trying to, like, show them something that it's okay
Yeah,
to
they
show,
like-
but for
Right.
some reason, the firewall has blocked it. My kids say, oh, no, Miss Finn, you have to click here and then do this and hold that. And I'm like, how about you come do it? 'Cause
Right.
Yeah, because I have no idea.
I don't know
Right.
What you said about the technology is the very reason that I think that, especially because of COVID, the face of education should change.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I don't know. It's
better.
the COVID and technology and all the advancements that we've had as a result of that. We prepared for this pandemic technologically 20 years ago, and we didn't even know it.
We didn't even know.
Yes,
But it makes me
yes.
wonder, like, why do we keep kids in school until they're 18?
That's true.
Like, why? Like, they
Yeah.
they have access to information so much more and
Why
so
are they in
much
school
faster.
8 hours a day?
Right? Like, why?
Why
Like,
are they
because they
studying
can
things?
learn things much faster than our generation.
Why
can
are
learn
they
things.
out of school for 3 months in the summer? Why don't
Yeah.
we just
Yeah,
give
that's true.
intermittent, 2
Yes.
3 weeks here, 2 3 weeks there?
Yes.
There's so many things
I
that
do
should
wish.
be different.
I wish it would be a year
Well,
straight.
and it'd be one thing that I will say to you before, not to cut you off, and this is not a political show. We do dabble into it, but we do have Kamala and Biden behind us, so you know who we did support.
Right.
That's one of the things I am hoping that to do is when with the new education secretary that they'll reevaluate how.
Well, he was an
education
actual
is being
teacher.
done. Right.
Yeah,
He
and his
came up
wife,
with the
rank. Is a
Dr. Jill
teacher.
Biden,
Right.
like she
yeah.
is a full blown
Or I was,
educator.
well, I was talking about who he's gonna put up for
Oh,
to be
the,
over the
uh,
education.
Department
He's
of-
right. Unlike
That's true. Yeah.
what's her
Right.
name that I can't even.
Betsy
Betsy.
DeVos.
Devosi.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
She
Anyhow.
did. Not to get political. It was about money. She gave a bunch of money,
Right.
and
Yeah.
she was not qualified for that position.
Right, and the thing
Yeah.
is like you said, education has got to look different because why are they in school? Why are they out of school?
So many
Yeah.
questions.
Well,
You know?
So many questions.
Who were we talking to the other day? They were talking to, maybe it was my mom or my sister was talking to my mom. I mean, my daughter was talking to my mom or something, but about how we treat kids here in their teenage years, like they're like suffocated into being kids still. Like,
Right.
you're an adult almost.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
And so they talked about the difference between how much more independence kids. It was the Henning family.
Oh, yeah.
How much more independence kids have in Europe.
Yeah,
Right.
like how
You
the
know,
kids
when
don't
they're
have
16,
to, they
they're
don't have
like
to ask to go to the
already adults. Some of
bathroom.
them are
For
living
instance,
their
that's a small
own-
thing.
yeah.
But they don't have to ask to
Yeah.
go to the bathroom.
Right.
There's a sign out sheet. You sign out. You go when you because like that's what people do.
Right.
We get the urge to go to the bathroom.
We just
we
go.
go to the bathroom.
Go, yeah.
I don't say, hey, babe, can I go to the bathroom? Like
Yeah.
but we coddle them, and it's a
Yeah.
good point. It's a good point.
I think we have. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh,
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say,
Yeah.
well, because so our daughter goes to a Montessori school,
Mm-hmm.
love
and that's kind of the environment. Even at 4 years old, she doesn't ask to go to the bathroom.
Right.
Their classroom looks like a living room, and
Yeah.
when they need to go,
They go.
Go to the
go.
bathroom, yeah.
They have their own kitchen. Like for
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, they make their own at 4. I mean, they don't give them knives, but they're teaching them to make food.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She knows how to fold towels, not very well, but because
But
they
she's
use
doing
towels,
it.
so they have to fold them as a classroom when
Yeah.
they're done. So they're teaching them to be more independent, and they get to pick how they learn.
Yeah.
So they have lessons that they go and they pick out, and that's what they learn. That's just they get to decide how they learn their
But look at all the
math or
life skills she
whatever.
just
Yeah.
mentioned in there.
Right.
Folding
Yeah.
Life
towels
skills.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and
That's what
in the
pushes-
kitchen
Yeah.
and like
So I think I know you said this is not a political show, but I have a lot of hope for, I guess, the new administration, especially in the realm of education. But
yeah.
it's at the federal level, it's going to change completely slow.
Yeah.
And then the fact, just by the virtue of the fact that you said your daughter's in Montessori school,
Mm-hmm.
our kids go to private school. I think the best thing about our education system is that we do promote and foster and believe in choice for families.
Yes. Mhm.
Because I think COVID is going to, I was talking to an administrator the other day that said they had thousands of kids in Hillsborough County still unaccounted for.
Yes.
they're just
They don't know where they are.
Yeah.
Like, they don't
They
know
don't
if
know
they're virtual
where-
school,
right.
homeschool.
Yeah.
So I
they don't
think-
even
but
know
I
if they're
think- I
in
think-
school.
Yeah, they did a show where they were trying to track kids down.
But I think this is I think this pandemic has forced people to realize again those questions like, why do I send my kid here? Like, why? We're not taking the complacent answer of because education is important. Well, yeah, education is important, but it can also look different.
Very
and I
different.
don't know that change is going to happen so massively on the federal level.
It hasn't
I really
happened
don't.
in the 250 years that this country's
Right.
been around. I don't think it's going to happen in the next
Right.
4 years.
because we still have that same methodology,
Right.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's why the kids
So
are out
the-
of school for the whole summer.
Right. and
Yeah.
what doesn't make sense is why is it that we own a home, so we pay taxes. The taxes go to the schools. Why do we have to send our kid to a Montessori school to get a quality education?
Yeah.
We're already
Yeah.
paying the taxes.
Oh, don't
for the
get me
school.
started there.
yeah. I
That's
feel
a
like we
whole-
don't even
that's
get
a
a tax
whole-
deduction,
I
like
know.
something.
I
That's a
told
whole thing.
Like we don't even get VPK credit because
Yeah.
we're
I'm
already,
so torn,
you know.
Claude. I'm so torn, man. What you just said that hits a nerve with me, and I'll tell you
Right.
why I'm so torn, bro. Is because I'm a product of public school.
Me
Me as
too.
well.
Yeah,
Everybody
me
here.
too.
If my neighborhood school wouldn't have been there, I wouldn't have had school.
Right.
Right.
So I don't ever want to sound like I'm coming down on public education. And then I spent a good portion of my teaching years in the toughest of public schools teaching. Mm-hmm. And then and my wife was there too as well. Yeah. And then I went with the Teachers Association locally to work hard for those lower income schools. Like my career speaks for itself. And then I even did it for the state where I worked with the lower 300 schools. But I can sit here, bro, and tell you candidly that the red tape that is choking the life out of the public school has caused me to all but give up on the system. And I'm not giving up on the people in the system. And I'm not giving up on the kids in the system. Right. But the system has failed us tremendously. Yes. Well, and that's part of the reason why it comes from the government.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which party is in office.
Who, by the way, don't know jack diddly
about any of it.
About education.
No.
Right.
You know?
And the thing is, too, I came from the school of, I grew up watching Lean On Me, and I know this is a bad example. It's based on a true
but is it a bad example, though?
Crazy Joe he did what he had to do to take care of his kids.
He did what he had to do.
Despite the system. Right. That's the thing, but we don't incentivize people that work in our public schools.
Right, and that's why
they do not make enough.
But Claude, that's why my wife would tell you, we very much, well, we can say this now because we're out of it and you can't come get us. But we very much, this is how we taught when we were in the public school system, especially in the inner city schools that we were in. The administration would come in, and by the way, we had some great administrators, so I'm not throwing them under the bus. We really did, and you had to in the situation we were in. Team. But we had, it was almost like, okay, Mr. Samuel, this is what the state says to do. And then we would say, okay, got it. And then we closed our door, and then we did what was best for those kids in that moment.
Right.
And we always taught that way. Right. And that's why we were able to have the successes that we had with kids that everybody else had given up on.
Right.
So it can be done, but the government is literally choking the life out of educators. Like they are literally beating them to the point where they're so beaten down they don't want to do it anymore.
So I told a family the other day that if you're wherever you send your children to school are doing the exact same things when things return to normal, I would question that. And it doesn't matter to me if it's a public school, a private school, a charter school, homeschool coalition, does not matter, because this pandemic should have required everyone to wrestle with, are we doing what's best for the people that we are leading, for the kids that we're educating? And I think when things return to normal, whether it's in 6 months, a couple years, the scope of wherever you are sending your kids to school should look slightly different.
Yeah.
So,
and if it doesn't, you need to question that. How are you going right back to business as usual with everything that we've been shown and everything that's happened?
Yeah. Right.
It does take a village,
of course.
Definitely. And it's just the administrators, not just the teachers. I had so I did go to public school. I got to back myself up. I did go to public school, but it was in the fundamental program from elementary to middle school. My mom jumped on that because she was just afraid that I would get left behind. Not because I wasn't an incapable kid, but because she wanted to give me that leg up. And it was. High school was a breeze for me. Mm-hmm. I barely studied. Honestly, I went to class. I was in class all the time. Going to class. But it wasn't difficult for me because I had the fundamentals.
Sure.
And the fundamental program literally it's called the fundamental program because they taught the fundamentals and they made sure that you understood and you knew it before you went on. Yeah. There was no, and I'm sorry to say this, I feel like sometimes our son did get pushed. We made him go to summer school.
So he was in third grade. He had not passed a reading or spelling test all year, and they were going to promote him to fourth grade. And I was like, absolutely not. He is not going. And they said, well, he still passed whatever the standardized whatever test, so we're going to make him go. You're going to have to just hold him back next year.
Pass it, not ace it. He just passed it.
Right. So they weren't going to let him even do summer school. And so thankfully, enough of the kids did not go to summer school. They had extra spots, so they reached out. So he was so mad. He's like, the school's not making me, and his dad even was mad. I said, he has not passed a reading. Like this is he needs this skill for the rest of his life. And
that's a recipe for disaster if you don't nip that right.
Yeah, and because we were going to, I'm like, no, I will hold you back. Yeah. If you cannot do summer school,
you did the right thing.
And he still, he still struggles, but that's I think one of his best grades right now.
I think the whole point of that though is that the parents, as well as the teachers, administrators, the state, the federal government, we all got to work together.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes. And there's always been a piece or a component missing.
Absolutely,
always been.
Or they're striving against each other.
Right.
The components are there and they're not working in unison with each other.
Well, just like years ago, the big push was college.
Uh-huh.
And now it's college and career and beyond.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, we were teaching, we would always wonder why you would have these kids that have been that repeated the grade 2 and 3 times. We're like,
oh yeah, I would have
why can't we send them to a vocational school?
16-year-old
That's what they do in
eighth
other countries.
Right.
But the challenge back then was they had to have a crispy clean, discipline record.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if they're already 2 and 3 years older than the middle schools that they go to school,
Right.
of course their discipline record is off.
Right.
So we've heard that has changed, but we've also heard that that's changed at the high school level. But you talk about high school was a breeze for you. Well, then what was the next path to challenge you appropriately?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And every kid is different, but why can't we
that
prep
is the
kids
thing.
sooner to go? If you are that intellectual kid by 8th grade, great. You're going the college route.
Right.
If you're not, great. Let's get you busy so that you can support your family sooner.
Right.
And that's okay too, right?
You can do
my
it
mechanic,
either way.
This is 5 years ago because I've gone to a different shop now. My mechanic 5 years ago was making $48 an hour. Mm-hmm. Never stepped foot on a college campus.
Yeah.
But he was doing what he loved.
Yeah.
He was certified in what he was doing. He had taken classes in that, but he was making almost $50 an hour working on cars. So I'm supposed to tell that kid, oh, you really need to go to college so you can make less money doing something that you don't want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I had a Facebook friend. We got somebody put a meme on Facebook about what trade persons make.
Right.
And how they make on average more than your most college graduates to start out.
Yeah.
So then another Facebook friend of mine had actually got into it on my thread because I shared it, and was a professor. I think she's a doctorate, et cetera, and she was not supporting what I was posting. It was fine, but then another friend of mine chimed in and said, "You know what? Well, the problem is in the language. Like, why don't we just refer to it as all college? Because essentially, college is, yes, it's the brain power behind." Getting a professional skill. So why don't we look at some of these trade skills as professions?
Yeah.
And they're still going to school and getting certification. They're doing brain power that the average person over here that received a college degree couldn't do.
Right.
So she said it's all college.
Right,
it's just how we frame it.
Your surgeon, I'm sure, is not remodeling their own bathroom.
Correct.
They're
Right.
paying someone, and they're they're very smart, but they
And
don't do that.
I don't know if it was like this when you guys were in high school, but we had wood shop and we had like my school literally had a mechanic shop where they would could jack up cars and work on cars. Why did that go away?
It tends to be something that they focus only on in certain areas, I feel like, too.
Yeah.
I feel like education here's my thing. You can go and order food a la carte. Why can't education be a la carte?
Yeah.
Right?
Why do I have to have this?
Right.
So somebody who's going to go to school, go be a doctor, do whatever they're going to do,
Yeah.
that's their aspiration. They have the drive, they have the means, they have the support for it, whatever. Person over here that doesn't necessarily have that.
Or
they
maybe
can
not
be a
even
doctor,
want that,
or
right?
want that,
Yeah.
right. So the thing is that why is education a one size fit all?
Yeah.
Yep. Why can't and it goes back to having the right people in the right place, incentivizing them.
Yep.
Because if you have guidance counselors that aren't barely making ends meet themselves for their college education, and they're incentivized. Because at the end of the day, I know I had a great guidance counselor. I had 2 great guidance counselors, Mr. Valdez, and Lord, I forget her name. It's so bad. Miss Sherry's what we used to call her, but I forgot her last name. They were great. Wrote my college recommendation and everything. Supported me along the way.
Yeah.
Literally, I spent constant time in there, and if she hadn't heard from me in a while, she would call me up to the office.
That's how
and
Camille's guidance counselor is at prep. She's phenomenal. She's phenomenal.
And unfortunately, a lot of schools or students don't have that relationship with their guidance counselors or their administrators.
Yeah, I didn't. We've talked about that. I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no guidance at all. My parents hadn't graduated college, so I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing, which is why I think I ended up
we do
in
so
a school
much for
that
the
I
kids
didn't
that
want to be
excel,
in.
but we don't do enough to make sure that every kid has an opportunity, because there are kids that are going to ace it and excel, and there are kids that are going to do average, and there are kids that are going to fail. But if the kid, no
and again,
kid is
why do we
there.
keep them all in school for
Right.
the same amount of time?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Well, you make a
let's
great
let
point,
them-
Claude, too, because we have so much for the kids that are above and beyond.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have so much for the kids that are really, really, really behind. And then you have the 80+%
Yeah.
middle-of-the-road kids
Right.
who are they're just kind of being
there,
pushed through.
Right.
They're just kind of
They're
coasting
the
through.
majority of Americans.
Right. They're the majority. I think they're the
That's
majority
me.
of.
I mean, I'm 30 and I still don't know. Oh, well, I'm 37. I'm about to be 38. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
me either.
I'm like,
I
I'm
think
just
it's the
rolling with it.
majority of us. I think the majority of us are in that section, and that's the section that gets most left out.
Right.
Like that's
Yeah.
you need to dig into that chunk of people, and
Yeah.
those kids need the most help. I think
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that guidance where you're going.
But you made a good point, man. My guidance counselor, I don't even remember that because they were not a part of my life.
Yeah.
They were not.
Mine was. She was not only was she active in my life, she was active in hundreds of other kids. I mean, I went to high school at 2,000 kids.
That's insane to me.
You know?
Yeah.
I went to a little school. I think, I mean, maybe 100 people graduated from my class, like so small.
That's gonna be Camille's.
Yeah.
I think it's-
Oldest.
Yeah, well, Olivia, she won't. Her Montessori school only goes to 8th grade, and then she'll
go
go
to high
to
school.
Robinson.
Okay.
But
She managed to still, because that was her drive, and I hope, and I'll have to find her. I have to look up her name and find her because I hope she's still doing that. Because I know she was young, and when you start off, you're ready, you're ready to go.
But if that was her drive, though, man, and she kept up with that, that's the kind of person you want in that
Yes.
position.
That's kind of person
You don't
as
want
an
somebody
administrator,
in the
as
position.
an education
You don't want
secretary.
somebody in that position that's just trying to get by.
No.
Like, this is what I ended up doing, because
Right.
you're dealing with people's lives.
Yeah.
Like, and as an educator myself, and I know my wife would say the same thing, I take that so serious, man. Like,
Yeah.
you have to be on.
yes.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter what kind of day you had or what, you have to be on. And
Right.
and
Because kids no matter how crazy and vitriol they can be,
Yeah.
a teenager is still a delicate human
Still-
being.
and still
they
a
don't
kid.
know a whole lot. They're still
Yeah.
kids.
My saying
kid.
when we were in the classroom together is that there are no bad kids. They're just kids that make bad choices.
And,
Or
and,
good
and,
choices.
and there are bad circumstances that kids are in.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like we adjust to what we are surrounded with. Like there's a book called Teaching with Poverty in Mind written by Dr. Eric Jensen, one of my favorite books ever. And I actually taught that course forever to other educators. And the reason I love it so much is because he addresses the fact that the human brain, while you will occasionally have the Jay-Z and the Oprah and the
Viola Davis.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of them. Yeah,
You
yeah, I know
are going to
yeah.
occasionally have that person that
Right.
where the circumstances were just horrific,
Yeah.
and somehow their brain still said,
Nope.
I don't want this.
Yeah.
I don't want this. I want
Right.
something else. The average person, that's not what's going to happen.
No.
They're going to see the circumstances, and they're just going to try and figure out how to survive.
Yes.
Right.
How do I survive this?
Yeah.
Most people are not thinking survival and I'm a do more.
Yeah.
They're thinking, how do I just get out of this
Maslow's hierarchy.
alive?
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of the kids are dealing with that,
Right.
right? And so you can't expect people to just rise above something that when the brain is just trying to adapt and survive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We so I volunteer with the Guardian Ad Litem, and so do you know what the Guardian Ad Litem is?
Yes.
So okay, so and that's we see that a lot, and even with the teenage because their circumstances have been so bad sometimes for so long, and now here they are, teenagers, and people are having a difficult time, and I'm like,
No
listen,
wonder why.
right? And teenagers are horrible anyways.
Yeah.
And especially now that I have a teenager, I'm able to say, trust me, my own teenager is horrible.
Right.
But they have all these circumstances,
Yep.
and you have to give them a new way of learning because it's survival
Yep.
for
It
them,
is.
and
It is.
so you can't get mad at a child that is doing what they needed to survive.
That's a
It's
fact.
never been taught any other way.
One of the things I had to shift in my mind in teaching kids that come from really awful circumstances, older, 8th grade and older. They're not in their mind. They're not kids.
no, they're adults.
And here's why.
Right.
Because many of them are raising their siblings,
Yes.
and not maybe with
And their
the,
parents.
Some of them are raising their parents. Yeah,
well,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
true, and not maybe so much the financial piece, but parents are never around.
Right.
Either
Right.
you got a parent working 3 jobs that literally just checks in and hopes everything's okay, so they can go back and make enough money to put food on the table, right?
Right.
Or worst case scenario, you have parents that are just bumming it and they're not taking care of responsibilities,
Right.
and maybe they're addicted to something or whatever. But then those kids come into school and you expect them to just check for what you say, and they're
Right.
like, I'm grown.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at home
Yeah.
taking care of, so
Who are you talking to?
right, so it's just all of that plays in, and and so now we have this lethal cocktail, right? And the question is, like, how do we help that kid realize that even in the midst of all that, there's something else?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, to keep them going because
Right.
you want them to be successful
Right.
later on, and teaching them that they're
Right.
important too. And
Yep.
it's such a difficult
So,
situation.
speaking of survival, I'm gonna switch us now. That was an excellent conversation.
Survival.
I love where y'all took us.
I'm
That's
afraid.
Great. 2020 is almost over.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
And I mean, I know we got 7 more days. We got 7 more days, but we're almost
there. We're
Almost
there.
You know,
We
The
almost
finish line is
there.
right there.
And just kind of, I just want to go around and just kind of reflect on it, just because my God, I'm getting
You're
a headache
holding your
just thinking
head
about it.
already.
I am, because when I think about,
it's so much.
Yeah.
have y'all ever seen a year like this?
No.
No.
I don't
No.
think I mean, when I go back,
Absolutely
and I
not.
think, and what I was saying y'all off air was, think about things that we've forgotten.
Yeah.
The murder hornet, the Australian wildfires.
I remember the wildfire.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that. I didn't remember
Wildfires.
hornets.
Claude, here was the measuring stick for me, bro. This is
This is where you go.
This is where I always go. Here's the measuring stick for me. Okay, I don't know where you all fall as far as being fans of the NBA at this table, but I am a huge NBA fan. Huge NBA fan. And here's the measuring stick for me. We lost on January 26th of this year. We lost one of the top 5, in my opinion, top 5 NBA players of all time. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about in the last 20 years. I'm talking about, go ahead and include Kareem.
Yeah.
Go ahead and include Oscar Robinson.
Yeah.
Go ahead and include George Gervin.
Yeah.
One of the top 5 of all time. And within 2 months of his death, nobody was talking about him.
Right.
That for me was the measuring stick
Yeah.
of the, like, Kobe Bryant died.
Yeah.
And
So
he not only
unexpectedly.
he died unexpectedly.
Unexpectedly.
He died horrifically.
Yeah.
His child
daughter,
died
yeah.
with him. 7 other people died with
And
him.
there were children too. Some of them.
And within 2 months,
It's giving me goosebumps.
it was not news anymore. That's
Yeah.
how you know what kind of year this
Yeah.
has been. That's the kind of year this has been.
Yeah, 'cause
Because
this
in
has
any
been
other
bad
year,
thing.
we're still talking about Kobe right now.
Right.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
any other year.
Yeah.
But that's how bad 2020 has been.
It's interesting now that the vaccines come. I've seen him more. Of course, the NBA just started too, so
Yeah.
those two have anything to do with each other. But
Yeah.
seeing his voice and his face more.
We are going to be playing catch up, I think. And 2021 is going to be the year of catch up, the year of
Sure.
literally remembering
Trying to get
and
back to stuff.
identifying the things that
Yeah.
all went wrong because
Well,
we had to jump
absolutely.
to the next thing.
Absolutely.
So I want to approach it from a different angle, though. Like all the things that I think about with this year. Like, why did we do things? Pre-COVID has become like a BC era now.
Yeah.
It's like
Yes, it
before
has.
COVID.
Well, and people even say that,
Everything's
right?
before or after
People
COVID.
lead with conversation. They'll say, before COVID. Like that's
Yeah.
It will
right.
be.
That's
So-
what.
We just
But
said one of
I
these,
think
yeah,
about
like
the things like the fact that we can have Zoom meetings now. I'm like,
Yep.
why did we have half of these meetings in person?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like that. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I hope this stays around. Like,
So my job personally, I can do it from home, and our senior managers have always fought it. No, I want y'all in. You know, we work from home 50% of the time, 60% of the time.
Because they have a hard time believing that we can be productive at home.
Right.
They just struggle with
Yeah.
that. They struggle.
It'll
with
be a year in March, and there is no indication that we will be back next year.
that. Sure.
You know, and it's just crazy to me because it's kind of one of those things that it shouldn't have taken. To me, it shouldn't have taken.
I
this
agree.
For people to realize that it saves you money. It's
Yeah.
you know, it's not that it's cost effective.
yeah,
Absolutely. All the way
I
around.
wonder.
Cost effective all the way around.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. All the way around.
If commercial or like corporate real estate will suffer long term, or not necessarily suffer because that's the big business, but
Yeah.
how it reshifts instead of having these
Oh, yeah, I think
huge
it's
office
going to.
buildings that where the entire company is in this 10-story, 20-story building. What that's gonna
Does that relate to school though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're asking why are kids in school for 8 hours?
Yeah.
Why are we sitting at a desk in a corporate suite for 8 hours? You know what I mean?
Right.
My job is
It's got to be
definitely-
cheaper for them for us to be working
Right.
at home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and mine is definitely mine has exploded exponentially about like even not necessarily working Monday through Friday type things, like having additional days to work as well, overtime, all these different things where you're here. Now it is funny though, we didn't get off early the day before Christmas. Christmas Eve, we didn't get off early the day before Thanksgiving, so they're kind of like you're already home,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you deal with what you need to do there. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a double-edged sword,
Right.
Because I am home, but I am literally at the disposal of my bosses at this point now. There's no,
But there's
no, I
been so
can't
much more
get to the office.
flexibility, though.
Yeah.
So when we're home, well, I've been working home years before, before
you
COVID.
you're pregnant, I think. is when
Right.
you left.
Yeah. So like 4 or 5 years. But they still, when COVID came out, 100% flexibility because they knew if they needed us to work
Yeah.
with our kids. I mean, both of our kids were home. So, and she's 4 without
Right.
school, and she had Zoom meetings for
Right.
and I'm like,
Don't even get me started on
Right. I'm like
those.
waking up. I'm starting
Our
at work, so
youngest,
they let
yeah.
me start work at 4 a.m. just so that I could spread my day out to make their meetings. And so that flexibility, which my job always offered it, but they went, I think, above and beyond. I hope more companies companies do that though, because for working families,
I think though COVID
wonderful.
has kind of made this kind of caste system. There's an article, I think it was USA Today. I never write the articles down. You always tell me to write who wrote the article down. There's one of them. It was USA Today or CNN. One of the big ones wrote about the caste system that's being created by people affected by COVID and not affected by COVID. Because that's personally, we haven't really been affected other than
stress,
some personal issues with certain people, health issues that we've had to not being able to go visit type stuff, having to wear a mask everywhere, kids being home. Those are things that affected us, but
not like horribly. They were none of them were.
People who literally out of work.
Yeah,
the food banks are draining.
Same for us.
So there's that. You literally have people that were not affected or even got a come up. Right. You have the people that are just in dire straits because of it.
Right.
And it's literally just taking that middle and just pushing it like this.
Well, I'll be honest. I'll show them because, I don't watch a lot of news on TV.
I'm the news junkie.
I get a lot of my news from social media, believe it or not. I check the source, like, what source is that? Okay, great. I can read that.
Good.
So that's how I get my news. Yes. But the fact that we were getting a new, like I had heard talk in the summer about another stimulus package, but whatever, I didn't think anything about it. And now that we're in the approval process of it, I was like, I totally missed that. And I'm just, so the fact that we're in the...
It's literally just awaiting his signature.
Well, the thing is,
That's
so
it.
we're approving
No, he vetoed it.
Oh, he did veto it.
He vetoed
Oh, I
it.
didn't know he
Okay.
vetoed. Well, he said he was gonna. I mean, he said that he wanted. This is what he said. He said he wanted more money for the American people.
Yeah. They're supposed to revote on Monday.
That's what he said.
This
I'm just telling you what he said.
Remember we said we weren't gonna make it political.
I follow him on Twitter, and I'm just telling you what he said. That's what he said.
Those are just facts.
But the fact that we're doing
you're that follower.
I did. Dude, it's been a great ride.
Oh yeah.
He's hilarious. I'm sorry. I mean, the
I don't know what we're
man.
gonna do next year
The
for
man
the
is
thing
absurd.
He's not going away.
He's absurd.
Oh, no, he's not going
Like
away.
his Twitter account is
just
the
upped his
funniest thing
following.
you've
Like, what are you
ever
talking about?
seen.
Right.
He is the most absurd person ever, and you get it all on Twitter. Like I can't imagine trying to be
for
his
the Twitter book, the book they made out of all the tweets.
I can't. I don't mean. I don't want to usurp this, but I don't understand. Like, how could you be his handler? I would have stroked out.
Oh yeah.
I would have stroked out. How do you handle somebody like
He
that?
lost a lot though. Everybody quit.
But he's in total. He's in total control.
Can't put together a proper sentence.
But he's in total control.
But at the same time,
he is
the American people voted him, so it doesn't really matter. Like
he's the leader of the free world, and there's like a group of people that are really like, Donald, please don't, please put the phone down. Like he's not. He's like no. He's like, it's 3 a.m. This is when I'm my best. I'm going in. I'm going in. Nobody. He is. It is the.
So I look forward to. I'll go back to what I was saying before. But I look forward to. You know how each president when they retire, somebody comes out with a book or what it was really like, or like I'm waiting for that.
Lord.
Like, but for funny moments, for things that we don't understand, for all of it, like not just the things that like, oh my goodness, but like I want somebody to tell that story. That story when you're in the Oval Office and you're getting ready to put up a tweet, like what conversation happened in the room?
Because you know
before
there's somebody. There's somebody. There's at least one, and I know it's hard to believe, but there's at least one. You all know there's at least one reasonable person on that team that is like, please put the phone down.
Yeah.
Please put the phone down.
I think there were a lot, actually.
I hope
You know,
there
were a lot.
Well, but I don't know that they all had the wherewithal, the Constitution to stand up and say something.
Right.
But you know, there was at least one.
Yeah.
He probably didn't keep his job long. She probably didn't keep her job long.
Right.
But there was at least one person who's like, you got to put the phone down.
Right.
Yeah.
Put
Enough's
the
enough.
phone down. Like,
Or can you put a comma right there?
capitalize the first word. Like, what are you doing?
Let's fact check this.
Right.
Or this is a territory
That's
of the
the people
United
that got to
States.
come up.
I
Right.
can't remember what it was. What did he say that
Oh,
wasn't?
he talked about Puerto Rico as though it was
Yeah.
not a
This is a
United States
territory.
territory. Yeah, he absolutely did.
It's been a lot. It's been a wild ride. I mean that and just politics, from politics to just everything. I was on the space of waking up every morning. I turn on CNN. We have our cup of coffee. We sit together every morning, and what has happened today?
Absolutely.
That was literally what has happened
Absolutely.
today.
And
What
then
is the news?
we switch it. The best is when you then switch it to Fox because it's something completely different,
Oh,
and it's so entertaining to see the differences.
But that, and I fear that we're going political, so I'm going to say this to be done.
Renee. She
But
always
here,
does that.
but the best part of that, Renee, was when there was a shift about a year ago where Fox was even over him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
several of the commentators on Fox were like,
Oh, they're now. Haven't you seen? People are like Fox
Oh,
is just like
no,
CNN.
they're going. What is
Like,
it? After the day after the election, I won't announce a news network because I don't believe in giving shameless plugs to other people unless it's our own brand. But anyway, so after the election was over, a lot of Facebook were like, forget so and such news, I'm going to this news network.
yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
wow, that's what we're doing. And the same thing with social media. Forget this social media platform. I'm going over here, and I'm like,
saying we're getting rid of
I'm like,
Facebook.
wait, so that's where we are now? Like,
Yeah.
where like it's like making
we're just gonna
announcements.
Get rid of Facebook for
That's like when people announce that they're gonna cleanse their friend list. I don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
And my thing is that
I don't care.
If I read the news to solely just read good news, I would not read the news.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not going to always be something that I'm favoring. It's not going to be
Right.
politically, socioeconomically,
Not gonna always agree with me.
religiously. It's not going to agree with me.
Right.
But that's news. News should be impartial.
Right,
and that's the one thing that I am looking forward to. Well, I don't think that's ever going to. That's going to not change. That's not going to go back to where it was.
Yeah.
Right. It's always going to have a slant. The slant's so bad now, it's going to
Oh, I was
continue
gonna
to
say,
go.
people are, I think, from here on out, always gonna say fake
What did
news.
you used to watch C-SPAN to get the real news?
Yeah.
Well,
I like
once
watching
upon a
C-SPAN.
time,
Where they
I
just-
mean, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like this.
Make you go to
This
sleep.
is what happened over in
Right.
the Middle East.
Well,
in-
I call it
down
the
in
Walter
Florida.
Cronkite days,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The Walter Cronkite days
Yeah.
is when it was just news. Like,
Yeah.
this is what happened.
Right.
Do what you want with it. Here's what it is.
Right,
This
these
is
are the
what happened.
facts. But
And
people
what's sad
now
about
don't think that the facts are the facts.
Well, I was gonna say what's sad about that time. During that time, that's like the classical period of news. Mm-hmm. But there was so much representation from that time period that was missing, like
That's true, too.
representation of marginalized voices
Right,
or
yeah,
whatever.
very
You know,
true.
you
I
take your
will
pick.
say
Yeah.
that.
Very true. Very true.
We watch CNN the most, but I think we go back and forth. MSNBC. We have turned on Fox News a couple times.
And I do watch C-SPAN.
I won't say this for Fox, but every other station there is a lot of representation. There's a lot of people that
Now,
look like
yeah, now,
us
yeah.
at this table.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
And
CNN
so-
is hilarious, by the way. I do
some
love
of the-
some
they
of
get
the
on my
CNN.
nerves sometimes.
I love it though.
You
What's
can't watch CNN
what's
longer
the
than 15
governor's
minutes.
what's the governor's brother?
John, brother?
Yeah, the governor of New
Yeah,
York. The governor of
the-
New York.
Cuomo.
Alex.
Cuomo.
Andrew Cuomo is the last name.
Is it
I
Chris?
know.
Chris Cuomo.
Chris.
Cuomo.
Dude, he has no filter.
He does.
Oh my God,
And
it's
he is
hilarious.
hilarious.
And then
I
when he
love
throws
it.
it off
Oh
John
my
Lemon at
gosh.
the end of it
Spoken
too.
like
He
New
is
Yorker.
he is hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And even he gets the eyebrow thing going on.
He gets so
and-
furious and like anyway, I don't
Yeah.
want to
No, I love him. I
He's
love him.
hilarious, man.
Yeah. So I do. So
Who's my favorite one though? My favorite one is the attorney guy on Saturday mornings.
oh, you like Smirkanish?
Yeah, Smirkanish.
I don't think I've seen
He's
is he
an
good?
attorney, and yet he just does like a funny. It's like
He's a bit of an a-hole.
Yeah,
but
he
he's
is.
nice.
And
He's-
it's
that's probably what makes him
hilarious.
good. That's probably what makes him
Yeah.
good.
And because
Because Cuomo is. Make no mistake about it. Like, I guarantee you, there will be a trail of people out your door who can tell you how awful he is because he's very direct.
Yeah.
Oh, very.
And he just calls it like he sees
Yeah.
it. He has said some very
Well,
off-color things
but
about
that-
Trump.
hey,
He has said
Yeah.
some very
That is
off-color
what got
things.
him from morning news
Right.
to
And
Trump made his career.
Trump did make it. There's a lot of people.
should be writing
that-
opinion
yeah,
notes.
there's a
4
lot
years
of
ago,
people.
he was on
He was on
morning
morning.
news. We
He was
see
on
every
morning.
morning. And one day, Chris Cuomo prime time.
2 hours.
And I was
2
so
hour
mad
prime
too. I was like,
time.
but
You
I
know?
like seeing him in the morning.
But big up to
I like
them.
him.
I will say that I want news to go back to them. I'm so tired of every 15 minutes CNN does report the same thing over and
Yeah,
over.
Everything is everything is
news.
breaking news.
Breaking news.
Everything's on a
I'm like,
slant.
wait, how did that make it to breaking news? Like,
Everything's on a
It's
slant.
like, it's not breaking news if I heard it 45 minutes ago.
Right.
It's the same
But I'm
news.
not gonna lie, I get frustrated
I get a
that
heart
people are
attack
like,
every
"Do you
time they do that,
only
actually.
so you watch CNN, huh?" Well, anytime, like if somebody asks you, I watch everything.
I do.
Yeah,
I watch
I follow everything on
I don't
Twitter.
just
I watch it.
CNN,
I watch every
everything.
outlet. I watch all of
And
it
I
because
look
I want to
up
know
the
what everybody's
resources,
saying.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
and I tell my son even if you cannot find several multiple
Right.
that are good resources,
Yeah.
you don't believe in
But
it.
that's the
It
okie doke, right?
happened.
The and again, I'm trying to be careful. The hardcore Trump supporters, that's the okie doke for them. They have been conditioned that if you watch CNN, oh, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
You're not
It's-
educated.
it's all fake.
You don't get the news. You don't. That's the okie doke. Like that's the rap.
and that goes,
Yeah.
in my opinion, back to education. Like, so,
Yes.
like, somewhere along the line, a lot of teachers probably taught you, or you either didn't choose, or maybe you weren't in that educational environment, but taught you to question everything. Like, that's what education
Yeah.
is for. Question everything, make
I
it
say
better.
that to my kids
Question
all
everything,
the time.
make
I
it
tell
better.
them to question
everything,
what
make
I
it better.
say.
Yeah.
I say fact check me. I lead
Yes,
with that. Fact check me.
yes.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. Fact check me. I'm not going to tell you anything that I meant to tell you that was purposely wrong.
Right.
So if it's wrong and you fact check me, you need to come back and let me know because right now I think I have good information that's not good
Right.
information.
Right.
You know, fact check everybody. I tell our kids that. You know,
Right.
I'm the guy that when we're in church, I think I shared this with you, Claude, when we talked last time. But I'm the guy that when we're in church. And the preacher says, okay, because Proverbs 29:18 says blah, 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 blah. I don't hear what he says for the next 2 minutes because I'm going to Proverbs 29:18 because I need to make sure he's not lying to me.
Right.
You know what I
right,
mean? So
right.
I'm that guy.
Right.
You know?
But there needs to be more of that, guys, because and women. But because you can't just
oftentimes
believe
people are afraid to fact check things. So they don't want to get. They don't want to
absolutely
get an answer that they don't necessarily.
That they don't want. Absolutely. And I want it. And I tell my kids, go get it. If it's wrong, speak up about it.
Right.
If I'm wrong, speak up about it. Let me know. And that, by the way, they have done that.
As long as you have a reason. Because my son will just come at us and say we're wrong. We're like, well, why? Well, just never mind. No,
like you don't want to do the
that's
work.
not how it works. Give me and Claude and him will just go like at each other. Claude will be like, give me a reason. I don't have a reason. I don't need to have a reason. Claude's like,
I don't have
Speaking of our kids, that's how we know whether something is important to them or not. Because we're very persistent people, and we have clearly passed that on to all three of our children, even though they approach it very differently. But that's how we know that they haven't really investigated or dived deep into what they really want, because the minute we ask like question number 2, they're like, never mind.
Yeah.
Like, nope, you asked now. Like,
we're
come on,
in
let's go.
now.
Unpack it.
We are in this pool together, and we are swimming. So let's go.
Yes.
What, you know.
Yeah. Isn't it funny, though, how we always are, Olivia is... We're both a little stubborn. We're both a little hard-headed. We're both a little... Well, I talk a lot. And he's sarcastic. Sure. She got all that mixed into one human being.
Our kids take all of it, and they go like 10 times.
And they use it on us.
Oh,
That's parenthood.
We've been really struggling. I'm like, she's 4. We have how many more years of her? Like, oh my... I don't...
We have 3 left of him and literally, 14 of her.
It's such a weird dichotomy because... And I know I speak for all 4 of us when I say this. There's a part of you that's like, yes, because you're not allowing yourself to be punked. You are going to, but then there's a part of you that's like, shut up.
Yes.
Shut up. Yes. Like I said it. I'm daddy and I said it. That's why. You know. But then you don't want that to be.
I said so.
You don't want that to be enough.
We always say when we have kids, we'll never use the because I said so.
Right.
It's part of being a parent.
Right. But Olivia doesn't let us say because I said so. No,
but I love
she
that.
argues.
As much as that creates like angst in me.
Yes.
I love that, like, and we don't really say that to our kids, but I love that they just it can't be the simple thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's
if it doesn't make sense.
It's gotta make sense. And I love that. Like I said, there's a part of me where at times I just would like to be able to play the dad card and be like, I write the check, so please stop talking. Like, you know what I mean?
And I hope they do, giving everything that has happened this 2020, that they do take that and move forward with it. Those are some of the lessons that they can use going forward, because if this can happen now, it can happen again.
Oh, yeah. You know, and did you see there's a new strain of this?
Absolutely. Yes.
I heard.
Already. Yep. And I'm like, oh, man.
I feel like we're watching a dystopia. Like, I did. There was a period during the summer. Yeah. During the summertime, I would every week come out with like, okay, now we're watching in our world this title of this movie unfold.
Right.
What's our daughter read a series, our oldest daughter.
The Hunger Games?
It's like the Hunger Games.
Oh, yes.
What district are you in?
Right.
Yes.
It's like, what district is it now?
Are you part of the capital or District 12 or 13?
It's
crazy.
Contagion or something that was actually about a new virus. And I'm like, I can't watch stuff like that. Real life is too dramatic.
The Maze Runner series is like that, too.
But what? The
Maze Runner?
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Maze Runner. I think the last one was
Maze Runner.
Yeah.
There's one of them
But the
called
Hunger
The Stand.
Games, when you think about it, even where we're at, each area is handling this pandemic differently. Because if you're in like a middle or upper class versus like the poor, like it's handled differently. And even the states, I feel like it could be separated into states.
Yep. So I think about the thing. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I think about the things that we talked about this on the way over. Of all the things that we question, like, why did we do it that way before COVID? So I'll go the coaching route. I never cleaned a basketball a day in my life.
Oh, I'll do
like I never.
I'll give them the cake.
I never cleaned a basketball a day in my life. And sure enough, when we got back in the gym and started doing individual skills training, we had to start disinfecting the basketballs. Right. And I'm wondering, like, as many kids touch these basketballs like every single day. Like, why did we not do this beforehand? Like, why did we not do this pre-COVID? Like, basketball probably spent a lot of germs. Any sport.
Yeah.
You know, why did we not do that?
Restaurant? I can only imagine. I can really only imagine.
I think it was my oldest daughter, and this is one I was like, it was like, the birthday cakes.
Yep.
Why was it ever okay to blow out candles and spit on birthday cakes? Why did it take a pandemic for us to question like people spitting? That's never been a good idea.
Every office, I don't care what you would do and what you do. Every office has that one person that coughs and doesn't cover their mouth.
Yes.
Or sneezes and does not cover their mouth.
Goes to the bathroom, doesn't wash their hands.
Goes to the bathroom, does not wash their hands.
And another one is handing out papers. What do we do?
Yes.
And you all know.
Counting money.
And you all know there's some people that are way worse with that. Yeah. Like, it's one thing, we don't notice it when it's a quick thing. We never really know. But you got some people that are like, you know, it's like, what are you doing? Don't give me that.
What was it? The grocery bag I couldn't get open? Because I normally will look.
And then
I think about
how do we do it?
What is it? Did you say counting money? Oh, shaking hands.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Why was that such a big corporate thing?
Right.
Like, you don't know what those people have done. Like, and I was a big proponent of, like, for me, it's like, as a teacher, like, shoulders back, head up, you know, look somebody in the eye, shake their hand.
Same way.
Why did we do that? I don't know what they did with that hand before I shook it. Like,
and how many times have you been in the public bathroom where you know somebody came in while you were in there and left and didn't wash their hands?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
and then you touch
Yeah,
the
because you
door
listen in
handle.
for that water, and
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
no.
So it's definitely something that I would say that is kind of adding in the Trump thing and adding in the COVID thing. I am a firm believer that things like that do happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Obviously, the 250,000 deaths that in America that have come for it. God, I pray for their souls and I hope that their families get some relief with that somehow.
Right.
But I will say, I really hope we learn something from it.
Yes.
A lot of things were exposed when Trump became president. A lot of things.
Yeah.
And I hope that
Yes.
our government does something to protect
Absolutely.
us. I'm not being biased. I'm just saying, let's protect something. Let's have
Yeah.
more transparency.
I think what's been promising for me is that, you know, especially if you open your mouth and make this pandemic a right wing thing or a left wing thing, like, I'm not even interested in having a conversation with you, because there's too many examples
How do you
across the
politicize
country
something like that?
of people on both sides of the aisle just doing what's best for their local community. You know,
Yes.
what's best for Tampa is not necessarily what's best for Newport Richie, not best for Orlando.
Right.
We're all different. And I think that, to me, that's been the biggest thing that has come out of this. It showed the need for, what is it, working together for your local community, whatever your local community is.
Centralize everything.
I'll be honest, though, I'm thinking about keeping the mask. I would, why
There are other countries that do that.
Yeah,
When they get sick, they wear a mask.
Yeah,
they
and
go out. I've seen several, and I think
It keeps your germs to
yourself.
And if we are all keeping our germs to us,
We're not going to continue to
just common
spread
sense
it.
says.
Well, we were walking in St. Augustine in the cold the other day, and I was keeping myself warm because I had a mask on. I was like, I don't have to cover my face. I don't have to smile at you if I don't want to smile at you. If I'm talking to my partner up here, you can't see my lips, so you can't read my lips.
So as a teenager, when you get that breakout stage, I'm thinking like half of your face is covered. That has to be a much better time of your life.
I'm perfectly fine with the mask.
Right?
I'm good with the mask.
And as you talk about local governments, even, I think it has brought light to how important it is. Because people are like, just vote for your president. No.
Yeah.
You need to vote for your local government because that is who has kept us, our importance in mind.
I don't know if we got to all our topics today, but we are coming to that time. So that just means that we're going to have you guys on again.
Okay.
Love to, man. Love to.
Because
it's awesome.
This was a good conversation.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure having you guys here finally.
Happy to be here, man.
We said before the end of 2020.
We did.
Right?
We got
it in.
We got on break. I'm like, oh my gosh, 2020.
What a way to end it.
We got it in.
Appreciate it.
I like it.
Renee and I always do our final thoughts. And did you have final thoughts?
No, just be happy we all made it. I think there was a meme that said, "What is your greatest accomplishment in 2020?" And I said, "I made it. I survived."
There's some people that didn't.
We didn't all make it. We didn't all make it, and so just enjoy what we have left, and that we made it, and subscribe and look at our TikTok.
You stole my thunder.
The TikTok is mine. The TikTok. We're getting good at TikTok.
And what's your final thought?
I just first of all want to say thank you all for having us on. This was excellent.
Yes.
I mean, this was
so
really,
much fun.
really great. And it just felt so natural. Like, I felt like this is a conversation we would have had without the camera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it was great. And I want to just echo Renee's sentiments that this has been a tumultuous year. So if you are able to sit and watch us, if you are able to be with your loved ones, be thankful. And I truly am thankful. And I thank God for the fact that we are all here, our families are all here, and Lord willing, we'll be heading into 2021 in 3-4 days, I guess.
Yeah. I can't wait.
I was just gonna say, subscribe to whatever Renee says, subscribe to whatever Claude says. So thank you for having us.
Yes.
I think for me, 2020 has been a big eye opener, and just doing the best you can to stay present and having gratitude for the things that are around you, which is all a part about staying present. So
Right. Again, ditto for everything that everybody said. I won't necessarily repeat it, other than to just take care of yourselves and each other. That's something I think that but we said on the last episode,
Try to push
we
it
should have been
every-
doing that the whole time.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of forced to do it.
Sure.
We should not have to be a pandemic, crazy administration,
Right. Yes.
whatever it is.
That's too
social
much.
uprising.
Didn't we have a tsunami at one point? Whatever. wildfire, all
couple
those
hurricanes.
Bring out the best in people. We should already be doing that. Yes, like and subscribe at Before the Kids Wake Up. That's the letter B, the number 4, the Kids Wake Up. We do have a TikTok that is Before the Kids Wake Up. Some fun stuff on there. Yes. And we are Before spelled out. The Kids Wake Up on all of our socials, and Shift Division Media on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Am I missing something? Twitter, everything. And that's all we got, guys. So I've been Claude.
And this is Renee.
And this has been Before the Kids Wake Up.